Now, since his debut, Conor Murray has earned 125 caps for Ireland and helped secure the team 5 Six Nations titles, including 2 Grand Slams.
Showing off. Johnny Sexton has even described him as the greatest scrum half in Irish rugby history. That's saying something come from a Leinster man. For Conor, now let's, before we chat to Conor, good morning to you, Conor, by the way, let's take a look at you in action.
Through the hands it goes, big shots from Murray! What an opening, what an opportunity, and Conor Murray didn't need a second invitation. Stockdale, lovely job there to Conan, and Murray outside, and he coasts home for the try.
There he is, one of his many trophies. Good morning, how are you getting on?
Thank you very much, yeah. Did Johnny actually say that?
Well, I don't know. It's in here somewhere.
Someone made him.
I was literally, I mean, we've all been on the wrong end of Johnny Sexton saying not so nice things. So
they were like, we'll release the video of you not catching the melon in the Mace ad if you don't say something nice about Johnny Sexton.
It's actually quite a long forward.
I know, I was
Johnny.
surprised, yeah.
So to get something good in there was
like you, we spent all our careers getting given out to by him, so nice.
Congratulations on the book, Cloud9. Listen, it's amazing because there's so many sports books out all the time as well, and a lot of people kind of wonder, is it just a plain old rugby book? But you've caused a right bit of controversy in this. I mean, for people who read it, what comes through massively is your love for Munster Rugby. But at the same time, you're quite honest in your critique of Munster Rugby, certainly around some of their signings or lack of signings.
Yeah, I'm glad you described it as that, because I think when it comes out at first, you get like headlines in the newspaper and it's like Murray slates Munster or whatever. But if you actually read it, it comes from a place of loving Munster and having spent so much time there and wanting to see them, I suppose, back at the top or competing for trophies. I suppose doing the book, it just came out. It was just a natural feeling of like what could be done better with Munster in terms of maybe signings or this, that and the other. You know, just it's easy to say it in hindsight, but it's probably difficult to say it while you're playing or cause too much of a stir while you're playing. So it, at the end of the day, comes from a place of wanting Munster to succeed.
Because you felt that Munster weren't maybe making the signings to get them back, and whenever the likes of Ron O'Gara left and Paul O'Connell left, maybe the players that they were bringing in weren't of that calibre. And as a player, I know myself, being a part of a team, you want to go and win trophies.
Yeah.
And when you're seeing signings coming through that aren't of that ilk. Now, Munster, of course, probably weren't happy with you saying these things. Did they get in touch?
No, a couple of them haven't. They were refreshed by what I said. I suppose people probably still in the building have similar feelings. So I suppose what I said in terms of signings and things that could be done better, it wasn't just me saying it. I was worried about putting it in the book in the first place, and I suppose I rang a few players who have since left and a few players that I knew quite closely, and they felt quite similar. So I like going back on, you know, when Raj and Paulie left and I came into the team when they were just on the way out, and I was like, well, no, I'm just going to win European Cups, and that's just the way it's going to be. And then probably some of the frustration is they left, and they're huge players to replace anyway. So maybe it was just a part of me just wanting to go into like that golden age and keep it going. And
what was that?
It wasn't.
What was that like? Because, you know, when rugby turned from amateur to professional, and you had these massive characters in Munster and in Limerick, you know, from Golliv to Clássy to the Claw, to all of them, and then to this, because there has been a decline. Unfortunately, Munster fans are there every week kind of going, what's going on? Because it was riding so high for so many years. No one was penetrating Thomond Park. It's got to be hard mentally to be like, as you said, I'm sure we're going to win forever.
Yeah, it was. It really did feel like that, because I snuck in 2011 and we won the Magners League as it was back then, and I was like, this is me now for the rest of my career. I'm going to keep winning trophies. And part of, I suppose, the guilt or like a big hole in our CV, me and Peter O'Mahony, Keith Earls, these guys, is like we didn't win a European Cup with Munster, and that was just really frustrating. It's something that you'll probably carry for quite a long time, and I just thought it was going to continue, and it didn't. And found it
losing that grip to your neighbours, Leinster, which is even more sickening whenever you have the likes of Johnny Sexton, your partner in the green jersey, but they're coming in with their European Cup medals.
Yeah, and they're flying it and they're riding high, and that's probably another part that I found tough, was being in camp with Ireland, and like we're having a great time and we're a bit of success, and then the Leinster lads are going off and they're winning. It was just the transition, because we went in at Munster and every year was like, we'll win the European Cup, that's our goal for the year, we'll write it on the wall, and then it was actually sad, over the years that goal wasn't the goal anymore. It was like, it eventually came to, let's get out of Europe, or get out of our group in Europe, and you're kind of like, it was just a frustration thing, really.
God, we were wondering who was writing all over the walls in Limerick saying we're going to win the European. Lads, we know it's you now, the guards. It was Keith Earl. Don't give out to Earlsy for this. But let's be honest, you're talking about signings there, and as we all know, Munster, rugby, you all play from your heart, you played for your provinces, you played for your clubs, and it's a beautiful thing to see. Then it goes to this professional era, and you've got people coming from all over the place, and it becomes about money. And of course, everything is about money at the heart of it. And there's a big chat this weekend. You've got Munster playing Leinster in Croke Park, and there was an issue last year. It sells out, and Munster Rugby are going, well, all that money's going to Leinster, and we've travelled up from Munster for all of this.
Munster fans paying for
Munster fans paying for the Leinster team.
Geez, yeah, I don't know. We get into that now.
We will. We just did. You can sidestep it.
Donica goes on about it all the time.
Yeah,
Donica's further removed.
Yeah, he's a bit further removed. I'm literally just out the gaff. So, I think there's always going to be issues like that, and people blaming like they're in Dublin and there's loads of money, but I have no opinion or issues on that.
I love this. In 5 years' time, he's not answering. I like that.
Well, in a few years.
To be fair, listen, it doesn't matter if Munster go and do the job. The Munster supporters would be happy to go once they get the win, and Munster supporters are so loyal in going travelling up to those games.
Incredible.
You talk about your dad in this. Is obviously you talk about your grandfather, actually a massive influence earlier on in your career, but also your dad. And people who would have read it or who would have watched the news knew that he had a pretty horrific accident there a number of years ago. A lorry came through T-junction, hit him and his bike, and he ended up in a bad way in hospital. You were in the middle of Six Nations at this period and getting that phone call. Was it nice to be able to go back and visit that, to almost get it out of your system, to write down those words, or was it difficult to look back?
No, the book as a whole was like getting the rugby career out of your system, and obviously touching on my dad's accident again was like a form of therapy, really, because we went through it. It was like a shock to the system. So at the time when it happened, I was like just on autopilot. Like I didn't feel like anything was really going on. It was just a real state of shock, if anyone's ever like been in it properly. And then to talk about it in the book, Tommy would call over, and 2 or 3 times a week we'd have a few chats, and going over that again like stirred quite a bit of emotion. So yeah, it was like a form of like reliving it, dealing with it, and not putting it to bed. Thank God he's made a pretty decent recovery. He's still got a bit of work to do, but at the time, it was especially to my mum and my sisters, I felt guilty going back up to camp and playing for Ireland, because I could nearly step away and get away from it, whereas they were. But
the mental fortitude to go out and play after that match, because everyone was I remember everyone going, will he play? And you did, and it was amazing.
Isn't it such a weird job to, like, any other job on the planet, in something like that happens, you're like, I'm obviously not, I'm not going to work.
Not going to work.
Like, I don't know, is it a selfish thing, or it was just the job that it was? I was in the hospital, and there was a point where we kind of had to talk about, am I going to do this or not? And in fairness to my mom, she was like, after I think the doctor came in and said, look, he's going to stay like this for the next 2-3 days. There won't be any movement. And she was like, right, go away. Yeah.
And listen, your mum and dad are huge supporters of yours, and you knew that your dad would have wanted you to play. Yeah,
and he would have 100%, and he would have hated anyone beside his bed, even like worrying about him. He's that type of character. And my mom told me to go play, and my sisters, in fairness, went up the road and they watched the game, but by his side, we played France. And there wasn't much response out of him at the time, but the game came on, and was it the anthem or something, some bit of commentary or noise, and he made a bit of a noise or a bit of a murmur, and then so we think it stirred something in him. That's what I'm going to say anyway.
That's absolutely gorgeous. That's amazing to hear. We have to mention, one thing in the book. Well, there's one thing. You've got a summary of names, a glossary of names at the front of the book.
Got this, all the different
of all fabulous people who have had an effect on your career. You know, when you talk about
nicknames,
class, you know,
Archie, Axel, Bestie, Bossy,
Where are
Bundy,
you there?
Church.
You're in there
Whereas
somewhere.
we were looking for, we can't find Tommy.
Mine was easy. I was just Tommy. I didn't really have
their nicknames. In fairness, so Tommy
Bowie,
would be right
no.
at the top. Yeah, Bowie
didn't really sit. No,
we tried it for a while.
But does he even get a mention?
There's no index. There's no index. So
I was trying to find the index. That's what I'm going to do.
Straight to the back.
Straight to find your name in it as well. But that's very helpful.
Yeah.
We know that Soldier Field, we know that the game against New Zealand is coming up again. Of course, you were involved in that epic victory where you first beat New Zealand. And of course, Axel was so involved. Axel Foley it was kind of dedicated to him. It was so emotional, everything like that. I know we've talked about it loads, but honestly, that first victory over New Zealand, it just must have been unbelievable.
Yeah, it's nice talking about it now that you're retired, and it was one of the finest days like we've ever had as a squad. No, unfortunately, Tommy wasn't. Just missed out on that.
We were there when we lost in the Aviva just before it.
I know.
Which was robbed.
Robbed.
Yeah,
it was robbed.
A building block, though.
Yeah,
You were part
exactly.
of that.
But listen, it was an amazing occasion to do it.
You see his face there. He wasn't on camera. He was like, building it.
To be fair, like I was watching in the pub, but like
Yeah.
it was an amazing, and I actually just do think that there was some, because listen, Anthony Foley was a mega part of Irish rugby, of Munster rugby. He was a big part of your life growing up as well, and the emotion of that, him passing away just a few weeks before that match in Chicago. Again, you're talking about going out there with your dad's injury. There's something about rugby that emotion plays a massive part of it, and you're able to pull it out for that game.
I think so, and I suppose as Munster players, we were on like a 3-week journey since Axel had passed. We played Glasgow at home the week after he passed, which was sounds weird saying it was an amazing occasion. It was like a proper celebration of him. And then we went to Chicago, and a couple of nights before the game, Johnny and a few of the senior lads were like, we're going to do the figure of 8, but we want the Munster lads at the front of it, like closest to the New Zealand guys. I remember standing on the pitch in Soldier Field, and I remember looking across, genuinely, like, and you can say it, like looking back now when you're dressing up, but I remember saying to myself, like, there's no way we're stepping back today. Emotion at certain times, you can't play in it all the time, but at certain times it does bring something different out, and I wasn't
there.
Day.
Andrew Trimble was there instead of me, and he kept getting it wrong, and he kept turning into a 6 because he kept being in the wrong place all the time. But
And we practiced it so much.
One of the smartest lads on the team, and you can't do it. Now, did you pick your position, your scrum half, because you get more girls?
Is
that
back in the day? Yeah. I suppose that's true. Yeah.
Is that
So
in Limerick? Limerick, all the scrum halves get the girls.
Yeah. I used to go down to Kerry, Derrynane, for my summer holidays for 3 months, and long story short, there was a guy, Chris Nolan was his name, played for CBC Cork, scrum half, Irish schools, like superstar, and I was a very late bloomer in rugby. So he'd be down on the beach playing tip rugby and just ripping it up, and the girls just be flocking to him. And I remember, like, it was 4th year, and I went back to Munchins. I was like, right, I want to play scrum half. I was out half centre, not really doing much.
Hadn't gotten the shift.
No, I hadn't got the shift in a long time, and begged my coach. Begged my coach to put me in at scrum half, and he gave me like 20 minutes at the end of some game that we were winning, and that was it.
Hasn't it done you well? Your wife, one of the best models in Ireland, Joanna Cooper. She's gas, she's funny, she's gorgeous, and you're moving to Derry.
I know, yeah. Things you do for love, isn't it?
Isn't it? Yeah.
How are you feeling about that?
Very excited, yeah. I love Derry. Been up there quite a bit, obviously, and she's a big family up there, and we'll be closer to them. And our young lad Alfie is nearly 1 now, and he needs a few Derry friends and a bit of a Derry accent, I think.
And an Ulster supporter. All this Munster talk's out the window.
Don't do that.
He's got in here the final chapter. There's another chapter. Coaching Munster, coaching Ulster up in Belfast as well.
No, we'll see.
Maybe the Derry football team. Listen, congratulations, Conor. An incredible career with Ireland, with Munster, the Lions, and everything else, and a great book as well, Cloud 9. Really, really good. Great to see you again, Matt.
Thank you, guys.
Play scrum half, lads. If you want to get the girls right now.
The Justin Bieber hair helped as well.